Hi everyone, it's Chenzo from RealityArtPod, here to talk about Week 1's Wednesday veto episode of Big Brother 27. Last time on Big Brother, Rachel and other have-nots were deemed immune for the week, Zach learned more about his power, and HOH Vince nominated Zay, Amy, and Squeaky Clean Ashley for eviction. Before I dive in, I put a link in the description to my playlist to catch up on my recaps. If you like the content, consider liking and subscribing. You can also use the link in the description to try Paramount Plus for free. But let's dive into it. Vince adjourns his nomination ceremony. Ashley is annoyed, calling Vince a liar. He did lie to her. Zay seems cool with it, and Amy is crying. Ashley confronts Vince in the HOH room, asking for an explanation. He continues to gaslight her, saying she was paranoid. She's hurt by him and breaks down as she confirms that he looks like an idiot, and that if she wins HOH next week, he's going up on the block. He offers to use the veto on her if he wins it to regain her trust, but he tells us that he's lying to her to make her feel better. Ashley diaries that Vince is a crock of shit and is blah blah blah, that she never should have trusted him with his stinky mustache. Vince moves on to Amy, who tells him that he made a bad move. Amy tells us Vince is a weenie. Rachel consoles Amy. She sees herself in Amy and tells us that if she can win the veto, she's saving her. Lauren and Zach are flirting on the couch. He's asking 100 questions about her dating history. Zach's boss is going to be facepalming, seeing him goon over this girl in his pink bandana. Lauren tells us she's going to try to keep it just friends. Okay, we'll see. Rachel gets Riley to admit that he has a crush on Catherine. Rachel's working full time to get the juices flowing in here and get these kids distracted. Nominee Zay continues to be cool. He's trying to work with Weenie HOH Vince, which makes Vince lock in on Ashley as a target. In the bathroom, Ava is relishing in her slot body, sharing that everyone in her family has a big old booty. Okay, Ava. Adrian is on the show, fighting with the laundry machine. The music gets tense and horrific anytime the machine starts beeping. I asked myself, are these 90-minute episodes necessary? Well, yes, this was funny. Inside, Keanu shares with Rachel that his father has cancer in his spine. That's his inspiration. In a really touching moment that humanizes him to Rachel, Jimmy's also warming up to Rachel. He's starting to see her as an asset that he can use to benefit himself, so he's easing off targeting her and starts bonding with her. She tells him that nobody's gonna vote for her in the end, so they should take her to the end and win. Jimmy and Rachel decide to start building a coalition. Jimmy brings in Zach, Morgan, Riley, and Vince. They name this alliance the Heavy Hitters. Rachel tells us she hates this alliance, especially because Amy isn't in it, and it's not a real alliance. Jimmy goes to Riley after this meeting to even tell him he's in the alliance and the name of it. Ava is annoyed with Keanu. He's following her all around the house. Where she goes, he follows. He pops up and startles her. She shares her annoyance with her buddy Will. Zach is torn. His bro Zay is on the block, but Zay isn't in his new alliance. He doesn't want to have to decide what to do with the veto if he wins it. When it's time to pick players for the veto, Ashley's taking another long shower. Comedically, everyone has to wait for her again. The show really set Ashley up for this. They knew she was in the shower. They pick players. Amy gets house guest choice and picks Rachel, and Zach's nightmare comes true and he's picked as well. Vince meets with Zach and Rachel, telling them he doesn't want the veto used, but they both are already saying they'll use it if they win. Ashley encourages Zach to throw the veto so he can avoid that tough decision. They head to the backyard for the veto competition. Felony Forest. Felony Forest stinks. The players are dressed as park rangers. They need to visit 3 stations to find a footprint, tire track, and smell that matches each crime. The player who figures out the 3 criminals first will win the veto. So they get started inspecting and sniffing the crime scene. This competition was too complicated. They think we care about the criminal profiles. Rachel smirches her nose into a beaker. She's sniffing and sniffing. She could sniff the paint off a car with this technique. Zach says everything smells like booty cheeks. Cheeks? All you need to know about this comp is the smells were smelly, and Ashley cracks the case and wins the POV. Vince is annoyed that he has to name a 4th nominee. He reminds his bestie Kelly that she offered to be nominated to hide their alliance. He gets upset about this, and she consoles him for considering nominating her. She's still cool with it and ready to win the blockbuster comp on Thursday. Jimmy sees Vince's HOH as his own. He's trying to get Vince to nominate Keanu so they can eliminate a bro. Jimmy canvasses the house with his idea, floating Keanu's name as a target. Rachel, who is dressed like a gambler from Guys and Dolls, is not happy to hear Keanu is a target. She tells Keanu that Vince is coming for him, even though it was really Jimmy spreading this. Keanu confronts Vince, but Vince denies it. Vince knows this all goes back to Jimmy. So now Vince is annoyed with Jimmy and is saying that he's considering nominating Jimmy, but we all know that Vince is a weenie, so we'll see what he does. In the backyard, Keanu and Jimmy have a tense conversation where Keanu is subtly threatening Jimmy, saying he'll come for anyone who comes for him, but Jimmy is more focused on cosplaying as Stregonona, and Jimmy thinks they had a great conversation. Later, Keanu pitches to Kelly and Vince to nominate Jimmy, but Kelly is still pretty cool with going on the block. Keanu confides in Ava that Jimmy is a sketchy snake. Ava sees this as a way to start some trouble in the house, so she runs this right back to Jimmy. When Vince confirms Keanu's plotting to Jimmy, Jimmy is activated, which brings us to the veto meeting. At the meeting, Ashley uses the veto on herself, and Vince nominates Kelly in her place. Just when we think it's over, Jimmy stands up and calls Keanu Keanu out in front of the house. Jimmy says the only thing fake about me are these goddamn sunglasses. This was such a rehearsed meltdown, but it did make a good moment in the edited show. Keanu is not impressed with Jimmy's acting. So that brings the Wednesday show to an end. I actually loved the 90-minute Wednesday episode. This was nice. We have Kelly, Zay, and Amy on the block heading into tomorrow's eviction, and truly anyone can go home. It could be a split vote no matter who wins the blockbuster, which is delicious. Split house, split house. I'm excited for the fallout of all of it. Add on to it, the mastermind is coming back tomorrow. Personally, I'm hoping Amy wins the blockbuster and they evict Zay. That would be finger licking good. But let me know in the comments, what did you think of this episode? Ashley winning POV, Kelly's nomination, and who do you want to see evicted tomorrow? If you like the video, consider liking and subscribing. I'll be back tomorrow night to recap the eviction, ends with my player rankings for week 1. Until then, you know where to find me. Bye.